Life in jail is difficult enough as it is. However, it gets even harder when you don't know the unwritten rules when you're in prison. And over the years, some past inmates have mentioned a few secrets you might want to know. So, keep on watching this video. Welcome back to the channel. Our videos are guaranteed to keep you coming back for amazing content, so let's start with today's video. Rule number 9. Don't move into another inmate's bunk. People mostly like to pick who they live with, and as you go down through the different security levels from the prisons to the camps, the repercussions become less severe. It's always a good idea to ask someone before you move in out of respect. And when you first get to a prison facility, you're assigned with a bunk number, and most frequently you cannot control this move. And once established somewhere, find a bunk you want to move into and ask your bunkmate, an individual who is already living there, before requesting the move. So if the bunk is entirely open with nobody in either bed, you could ask the others in the room if they wouldn't mind if you move in. Somebody may have plans for the bunk, and if you disrupt that, and because of that, trouble can start. Rule number 8. Never steal from a fellow inmate. Resources in jail are minimal, and one of the only rules the participants learned was not to steal from their fellow inmates. Some of the most significant conflicts on the show erupted after inmates were accused of stealing soda, coffee, or any other commissary items from other inmates. Stealing is a clear sign of cowardice, and an accusation of theft can potentially damage the reputation of your entire racial group. If an inmate is caught stealing or violating another rule, the members of that inmate's racial group will hold a trial, and in that trial the accused inmate is confronted by other inmates at the top of his race's social hierarchy, and he's allowed to plead his case. So if the leader of the racial faction finds the inmate guilty, he can order violence against the inmate or basically have him removed from that section of the jail. Rule number 7. No snitching. Snitching is probably the worst offense there is behind bars. The undercover inmates instantly learned that they would face serious results if they informed all jail staff about illegal activity happening in jail cells, like fights, drug use, or even the presence of contraband items like weapons as well as cell phones. And if someone calls you a snitch in jail, that can get you beaten up, and it can get you shanked. It can get you killed. Once someone is labeled a snitch, found guilty of stealing from another inmate, or backed down from a fight, even inmates of their own racial group won't defend them. And so there's only one thing left: roll out. An inmate rolls out when he requests that jail staff move him to another wing of the jail because he fears for his safety. Of course, even if an inmate rolls out, their troubles are far from over. Inmates can communicate across pods by discreetly sending kites or handwritten messages to other sections of the jail. If an inmate's new cellmates discover he's been labeled a snitch, he'll have to roll out again, and if there's nowhere safe for him to go, he'll likely be sent to solitary confinement. Rule number 6. Don't interrupt the order of the TV. The TV room in prison is usually divided into sections, and invisible lines are drawn on the floor, so that many chairs go into each row. Then it's divided by race, state, city, or sometimes a combination, and if an unwelcome chair is added, everybody knows instantly. In prison, everybody has assigned spots in the TV room, and if you get these spots by waiting for someone to leave, you have built a relationship, and they leave you their spot. You can even pay money to get a TV spot faster, but you should be careful who you purchase it from because prison is full of shady individuals. And if you're buying a chair from someone leaving prison, make sure it's legit, as you may not be the only one they sold it to, which will create conflict. It's good to wait for shows and movies to end before you try to change the channel, and this takes some patience, but it will keep you out of conflict. So if you can't get a TV spot when you first get to prison, then most have day rooms or TVs around the compound, like at the gym or recreation yard, where they're open to first come, first serve. However, be careful because those TVs might be organized as well. Rule number 5. Don't disrupt someone's nap. If you're at a prison facility where it's safe to take naps, then you should make sure you don't wake someone up from one unless you have been given permission. This basically means being aware of your surroundings when entering your room and knowing if someone is sleeping. Whether someone is sleeping will determine the volume level you use and whether you can turn the light on. Moreover, your room might have 2 sides, and it's always best to poke your head in the other side and also make sure nobody is sleeping. Rule number 4. Pay for your things. If touching someone's stuff is not at the top of the list for getting yourself in trouble, and not paying your bills or debts is one of the biggest ones, there are only 2 things that a prisoner has in prison, and that is his money and his word. And so if those 2 things are not in line, then the person probably is not worth much. Also, the inmate population is generally not made up of the most responsible people, so staying on top of your obligations so that in case of why you're in prison is a must. Whether you smoke or drink, you always need to pay your bills because you will run out of time. The debt will be paid back through violence or by the people you run with. Rule number 3. Wait your turn and be patient. Waiting in line is just a regular thing in an inmate's life. You wait in line for your showers, commissary as well as your medical, so you should make sure you wait your turn and never cut or jump in front of anyone, even if you are allowed by another inmate, as the people behind them might not feel the same way. Rule number 2. Don't use the bathroom mop to clean your cell. In the cleaning supplies closet, which is on every floor, there is a mop or a broom designated for the bathroom, and that is to stop cross-contaminations. So unless you want urine along with fecal matter in your room, use the right broom and mop. This will also be pretty embarrassing for you, as everybody that sees you do this might not say anything to you, however they will definitely tell everybody else. Rule number 1. Always mind your own business. You should always stay out of the business of others unless they've included you. You will hear a few phrases such as, keep your eyes on the road, stay in your lane, and put the blinders up and do your time. You should never eavesdrop or gossip in a prison cell. Over there, it's called ear hustling in prison, and it's when you hear what others are talking about and you can make yourself part of it, or if you pass the information on. So only include yourself in others' conversations if you are asked. It may seem like you're being helpful if you happen to overhear a conversation and you jump in to answer their question. However, in prison, you are crossing a line, and that's an unwritten rule. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.